I'm Dave Clark. I'm out of Renton, Washington. I've been a Sounders supporter, I guess, kind of 1998-ish when they were in the A-League, and it really took off in 2008. In 1998, I was working at KJR as an intern. That's the sports radio station here in town, and wanted to see what it was like to be a reporter. And due to some interest in soccer at the time, I came down to Memorial Stadium in Seattle, where the A-League played starting in spring of '99, and just went to a few games and got sound, and everybody mocked me for being the soccer dork. So that's kind of where it started. Went to a couple games in '98 and '99, moved out of the city for a while, and then when I moved back, I went to a bunch of USL games, both at CenturyLink and at Starfire in those years just prior to them joining the MLS. When it became official that the team, or not even became official, when it was obvious that it was going to happen, I'd had an experience blogging about baseball, helping out a bunch of people, running various baseball blogs, and for a long time those baseball guys were always like, Dave, you should start a blog, and I didn't, because I'm like, guys, I don't want to be, I don't really feel like I have something else to add. But the soccer community was kind of small. I like to say that Goalseattlecom and one of its iterations is kind of like the godfather of Sounderheart, because I was there. And then I was like, you know what, there's a need, I'll do it. And so my friend at prospectinsider.com gave me a little bit of server space and taught me about WordPress, and we started. And about a year and a half later, we joined SB Nation to continue growing and doing things. So it started in August of 2008 as basically I didn't see a site that did what I wanted to see in coverage of the sport, and so I made my own. Sounderheart is a lot of passion. I mean, the at heart's there for a reason, but the way I express my passion has a lot to do with logic and reason and statistical analysis. And though I'm not the expert at that on the site, it's what I was looking for. It's kind of take the people that do things like hardcore football and the rah-rahs and the desperation and the bleeding heart, and combine both of those together, and that's what Sounderheart is. And it's grown to be a community as much as it is a place for original reporting and jokes and statistics. I guess what's changed the most about it is that it's become so much more of a community. In 2009, I didn't know a lot of people. I knew Greg and Keith and Sean, not Wheeler, but the big bearded dude, and some of the leadership from ECS, because they'd seen me around the USL stuff, but not in it. And then there were my seatmates, which are like my brother and my best friend and a couple other good friends, and that was it. But now, because Sounderheart's a little bit popular, when I wander around the stadium or the match day experience, I see people who know me, and they don't know me just because of soccer. They know who I am, and they know my interests outside of the sport, but they genuinely care about how I'm doing, and maybe not even read the site, but care about the personalities behind it. One of my favorite kind of tales of Sounders history was the 2007 USL Championship. They were going up against the Atlanta Silverbacks at Starfire. It's about 5,000 people in there. The far side of the field was basically 4 rows of bleachers and then a lot of standing on the hill. It wasn't as advanced of a stadium as it is now, and it's not that advanced now, right? So we're sitting there, and our seats are maybe about that far from the place where a guy would take a throw. And after one of the goals, I think it was the third goal, and it was very clear that the Sounders were going to dominate. They went on to win 4-0. But after the third goal, I think it was Craig Tomlinson is charging, sprinting, basically right for me, because I'm standing there I was not seated. I was standing there celebrating, cheering, and all of a sudden he's like right in my face, and I start to reach out, and then I'm like, I'm going to break the plane here. So the whole goal celebration was right there, but watching that championship, the 4-0, there were a lot of guys on that 2007 roster who, for both teams, that eventually wound up in MLS. It was a very kind of replacement level player kind of game. Roger, Taylor, Zach were all there. Seb Latu, Matt Conji, who won a title with the Colorado Rapids, was on Atlanta at the time. It's just a lot of fun, but the way that the environment there at Starfire was really kind of what let me think that soccer would succeed, because here we were in what was essentially a high school football level stadium. I mean, it's not much better than high school stadiums in the area, and 5,000 people just yelling and screaming right there with the fans and the players, and the way like they celebrated afterwards, and people kind of milled around on the edges, and you could reach out and touch them, even though I didn't. You know, it's still one of my favorite experiences, and I mean, we've seen a lot of trophies and a lot of wins and stuff since, but that group of guys that at that point they weren't quite certain that MLS was coming, but they knew there was still a chance.